what's going on? Welcome to Wild Finds, where I search thrift stores for media items. Things have been a little slow for me. I'm here in Florida. There was a major hurricane and things were closed down, obviously, but it actually wasn't that bad. I mean, leaves fell off the trees, as you can see here, but besides that, there was no major flooding in my area and we didn't even lose power. I feel bad for the people affected, but luckily it wasn't nearly as bad as they said it was going to be. But here at this thrift store now, and let's see what we can find. And the pricing is, everything is 50% off. Nice. Unfortunately, it looks like there's nothing new put out in the media section since the last time I was here. Now, the t-shirts, this one's kind of cool. Gatorland, Gators, Ghosts, and Goblins. And you have an alligator dressed as Dracula. Very nice. Also have an In-N-Out Burger shirt. And believe it or not, I do resell these. And I'll probably get at least $10 plus shipping for this one. So I'll grab these two. Over here we have a Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix hat. Scholastic Books, $621.03. Looks like a promo hat. I looked up that hat, it wasn't worth very much, so I just grabbed these two t-shirts for 50 cents each. Nice. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon when I said the hurricane didn't cause much damage. Check out this building here. It looks like it was ripped in half. It was a psychic shop. The sign on the door says open, but I doubt that's true. With them being psychics though, you would have thought they would have seen this coming. Wow. Craziness. Yeah, I'm gonna assume that they're not open. Now at a thrift store I've never been to before. Wish me luck. So they have a big DVD section here. They're $1 or 6 for $5. Video games $7.99 each. Not really seeing anything worth grabbing video game wise. They do have this game, Hello Neighbor, and I thought I would like this, but I didn't like it at all. And I usually do like games like this, but I was just not a fan. Shockwaves. So the cover is cut. And yes, that's what I thought, a bootleg copy. I don't own this movie, although I do think it's not that great. Like, I thought it was kind of boring. It has good reviews there. But I do want to watch it again. Even though it's bootleg, I think I'll grab this. So yeah, out of all these DVDs, this is the only one I'm gonna grab. Now at the Goodwill bin store, the music they're playing sounds like the Nintendo GameCube startup music. But it already passed, so never mind that. I found some cool items though. Check this out, Straw Dogs Criterion Collection Blu-ray. I find Criterion Collection DVDs from time to time, but usually not the Blu-ray, so this is awesome. The Rival, I saw this way back in the day in the theater, and I remember I laughed at the reveal of the alien. But maybe I'll check it out again. Got a little crowded over there, so I moved over here. Next up we have Robin Hood Men in Tights. And what's funny is this isn't Mel Brooks's first Robin Hood project. He actually had a television show in the 1970s called When Things Were Rotten. Just kind of interesting trivia there, but I'll grab this right here. John Carpenter's version of Village of the Damned. I've never seen this, so I'll grab that. Now sometimes Hallmark movies have value, so I'll grab that. I thought this was interesting. Cold Hand Luke in a snap case, but the snap case is clear. I've never seen that before. Shawshank Redemption Blu-ray, nice. Wrath of Khan, brand new DVD. Here we got the Kennedys. I guess this is before they were dead. And it's autographed. And next up here, we have Eyes Wide Shut. And we're inside here at the Goodwill. But somehow this is wet. I don't understand. But this is out of print and hard to find, so I'll grab it. And we got the Terminator with this fun cover here. Woo! So back at home here, and I got something I want to show you. I was at an auction and I bought 4 big boxes of records for only 30 bucks. It was a great deal. I don't think people were really interested because it was a lot of like oldie stuff that isn't very desirable. Say like stuff like this right here. But like I said, 4 boxes, and the very last box that was on the bottom had a bunch of great stuff. So I got really lucky there. You got like this, like kind of like a progressive rock band here, Aphrodite's Child. It bears the number of the beast right there. And I like some progressive rock, but this is kind of just too experimental and meandering for my taste. It seems like every single member of this band is an acid casualty. So yeah, not really my thing, but it's pretty valuable from what I can tell. So very nice. We got Fleetwood Mac Rumors and Fleetwood Mac's self-titled album. Jim Croce, a brand new sealed album. Now, brand new sealed albums can have a lot of value because this is like, you know, pretty old, from the 70s at least. I didn't look it up, so I don't really know for sure, but I'm sure this one will do pretty good. Got a Boys in the Hood laser disc right there. Got this Scratch Live record, and this is meant for DJs, and it plays like a control signal. I don't really know exactly how that works, but these are pretty valuable. So very good find right there. Got some more here. There's a bunch of reggae. This guy Leroy Brown, that seems like a pretty good one. Dennis Brown. Peter Tosh right there, that's a cool cover. This other Peter Tosh one. This one's called Legalize It. He seems to be in some type of tobacco field there, enjoying a nice toke of tobacco with his pipe. And here's Bob Marley. He's enjoying a very big cigarette right there on the cover. Another Bob Marley Exodus. Now this is in really good condition, so great finds right there. One called Big Youth. This seems to be the most valuable one of the lot, so good find there. Nice. Got a bunch of Simon and Garfunkel and Paul Simon albums. I'll lot these ones together. Got a bunch of reggae singles. I'll lot those together. And more reggae ones that kind of weren't worth enough to sell individual. Like I thought this one would be valuable, Shadow, High Tension, but it's not. So sometimes you can't tell. You can't just judge it by the cover all the time. So yeah. Peter Tosh, this one was just not in great shape, so I'll lot this together with other records. Very nice. Oh yeah. So I'm back at this thrift store here, and they have these Haunted Mansion plushies. Also, there's someone at the counter waiting to check out, and they keep ringing the bell. I think bells shouldn't exist in retail places because they're just annoying. Like, the person's gonna come eventually. Just wait the 30 seconds. Anyways, I went off on a tangent there. They have these Haunted Mansion plushies, and they're only $5 each. And Haunted Mansion stuff can be hard to find and pretty collectible. So I'm definitely grabbing these right here. Very cool find. At the t-shirts here, found this one that says 187 Ring of Honor, no peace. And I'm guessing there's a wrestler named Homicide, and I'm guessing this is his. Not exactly sure though. Boy, were those some wild finds or what. So I wanted to take some time now to actually talk about some of the movies I've watched recently. I haven't made a video like this in maybe 4 or 5 months where I actually review the movies. And when I make those videos, they usually don't get as many views, so I was thinking people aren't into those as much as the pickup videos, and I perfectly understand. You want to see like what I find in the wild and like the goofy things that go on at the flea market, so I understand. But while I have your attention now, I do like talking about movies, so I wanted to talk about some of the highlights I've watched over the last couple months or so, and we got a bunch here. And let's start with The Young Ones, which is a fantastic British show. And this is super ahead of its time. It's from 1982. And seriously, like, I don't think television has yet caught up to this. They say Seinfeld is a show about nothing, but this is kind of more of a show about nothing. They just sit around their apartment until like something ends up getting broken. But it is very funny. And yes, I highly recommend this. And it's only 12 episodes, so it's not a super huge time commitment. And I think there's something to say about a show that's only like 12 episodes. It could be longer. It was a hit, but they had integrity and they wanted to just, you know, end it while they were on top. And yes, The Young Ones is awesome. Drop Zone, this Wesley Snipes movie, is better than you would think. It's very dumb, but it's super entertaining. And Speed Racer here is a better movie than you think it would be. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is a bit long for a Speed Racer movie, but it is very well done. Good time there. And this one right here, The Lost Continent, is very strange because the first half of the movie is just about mutiny on a ship where, you know, the passengers, they're rebelling against the captain because they don't like what he's doing. And then the second half of the movie, it becomes sci-fi, and it's very, very strange. But I had fun with this one. I didn't think I would like it at first, but I did end up liking it, and I do recommend that one. The Lost Continent. The Hitman's Bodyguard, this is entertaining enough. Not really too much to say about that one. Same with Rapid Fire, kind of a B-level action movie, but you know, it gets the job done. I had fun with that one. Iron Monkey, somewhat, actually a pretty decent kung fu movie. But Five Element Ninjas here is very, very good. And I would say this is probably in like the top 5 kung fu movies of all time, in my opinion, of the ones I've seen. I had a lot of fun with that one. Whoopi Goldberg, Jumping Jack Flash. So this is better than Burglar, I think, and this is a pretty good movie. Now, what's funny about this Phenomena movie is this is the uncut version, and it's in English, except for like randomly, like once every like 20 minutes, a couple sentences will be in Italian. I'm guessing because they recorded most of it in English, except for some few scenes that they cut out of the movie, but then they put those scenes back in on this DVD. So yeah. Just random Italian scenes will pop up, but great flick right there. And next up here, Barbarella, and this is a fun time, campy sci-fi. Not quite as good as, say, Flash Gordon, but I still did enjoy it. It says it's rated PG. I doubt that's true because there's a lot of risque stuff going on in this. And yeah, I had fun with Barbarella. Very nice. And Foxes right here. I had never even heard of this movie until I found it at the flea market. And I love any movie about juvenile delinquents. This came out in 1980, but it was filmed in 1979. And yeah, it's just so cool to see like what life was like for teenagers back then. I feel you didn't get movies like this, say, in like the early 70s. It was more towards the later 70s when you got like kind of gritty teen movies like this, and this is kind of an underrated gem. I recommend Foxes. Black Ninja. So this guy, I guess, wrote the movie and directed it. It's very, very cheesy, and what's super cheesy is while watching the movie, the credits come up and it says directed by me, and I don't know if that's a sign of like the guy being embarrassed that he directed it, or a sign of his like big ego where he just assumes everyone watching will know, like, it's directed by me, of course. Me, who else would direct it? Me. Just a real silly thing right there. Okay, moving on. Running on Empty. Very, very good 1980s drama movie. You know, in the 1980s, when most movies like were about like people going on panty raids and stuff like that, it's refreshing to see a movie that takes itself seriously, and this is really, really good. The way back, I wanted to watch this because it takes place a lot at a water park called Water Whiz in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, which I actually used to go to as a kid. And it's really good. I would say my only complaint is I never fully connected with this kid. He's just a little bit bland, but besides that, it's a good time. And it's kind of interesting seeing Steve Carell play like just a jerk in the movie. He's not a very nice guy. He's the kid's stepdad. And next up, we have Dead Calm here. This is awesome. This is a very, very good thriller, and it's very intense and keeps you on the edge of your seat. I highly recommend this one right here. Nausicaa, an awesome animated movie by Studio Ghibli, I guess is how you pronounce it. And of the Studio Ghibli movies I've seen, I would say that this is my favorite one. This was like redone by Disney. It was remastered and like redubbed, and it was awesome. I like this a lot. The Jerk, I've seen this so many times, but I rewatched this, and this is a perfectly written and paced movie. I love how you just hang out with Steve Martin's character. Like at first he's working at a gas station and you get maybe like 15 minutes at the gas station. Then he's working at a carnival and you get like 25 minutes at the carnival. And I think that's just like so awesome. This is such a great movie. Besides maybe Monty Python and the Holy Grail, it's probably the funniest movie from the 1970s. And next up we have Bad Words, which kind of maybe an underrated movie. I've never heard anyone talk about this before, but I thought it was funny. I like this. Next up is Inside Out, and this is another awesome animated movie, and I would say it's one of Pixar's best. I also saw Inside Out 2 in the theaters, and that's kind of more of the same. It's still pretty good, but I would say the first one is better. Walkabout, this is I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's a pretty good Australian movie. A little bit depressing and random. A father just brings his son and daughter out to the wilderness and starts shooting at them, unexplained. It's never explained why, and they just run away. And now they live in the wilderness. But yeah, interesting movie right there. It was pretty good. Dragged Across Concrete. Now this movie is so realistically violent at moments. The whole movie isn't violent. It just has short bursts, but it's so violent at points. It's depressing. This is a very intense movie. It's well made, but I don't think I would watch it again. But I did have some fun with it. It's pretty good. Here we got the Walking Tall trilogy, and I would say these are some of the better 1970s action movies. In the 1970s, you didn't have like amazing choreography like you later got in the 80s with action, but it's still a good time. It's kind of a weird movie though, like just what it's about. It's about a real life sheriff. So the first movie is about the sheriff, and then in the second movie, maybe slight spoiler here, but that sheriff ends up dying in real life. So in the second movie, the character dies at the end. But there's a third movie, and it just starts up, and they act like they didn't kill off the sheriff in the second movie. They just act like that never happened, and then they kill him off again. So, yeah, kind of weird how that happens. And next up is The Fabelmans by Steven Spielberg, and it's semi-autobiographical, I guess, where this character here wants to be a filmmaker. And it's a good time. I would say it's one of the better, newer Steven Spielberg movies. I had a fun time with The Fabelmans. Yeah. And we got more over here, Village of the Damned. I was very intrigued by the first 20 minutes or so of this movie. The rest of it is good, but not quite as good as that first 20 minutes. And then Children of the Damned, I never was like very intrigued by that movie. So I would say the sequel isn't very good, but the original is good. Worth watching those. Witchboard here is a pretty solid 1980s horror movie. You'd think it would be super cheesy by this cover, and it is cheesy, but if you're a horror completionist, it's definitely worth watching. And the same with Demon Seed, you would hear that name and think it's about like a lady giving birth to like a devil child, and it kind of is that, but what you wouldn't take into account is it's a computer program who like is trying to get the woman pregnant. So that part of it is very unique, and yeah, I would say this is an underrated horror movie, even more so than Witchboard. Now The Church, I kind of don't like horror movies based on The Church. I just find them a little boring, and that's kind of the case with this one. I wasn't too into this one. The Quick and the Undead, this is super, super cheesy, obviously, but I do like zombies, and there is some fun to be had with this. It's pretty decent for what it is. Now this one, Freaks of Nature, has an awesome cast here. You have like Patton Oswalt, Bob Odenkirk, Joan Cusack, Dennis Leary, and I looked this up and it has bad reviews, but I thought it was pretty funny. I kind of am sick of horror comedies, but this is one of the better ones I've seen recently. And you can't forget about Keegan-Michael Key here. I'm surprised he's not listed on the cover. His character is actually the funniest one in the whole movie. So yeah, weird they don't list him on the cover here. But he's good. And this is a pretty solid movie right here. It's a good time. Next up, Gargoyles, and this is a perfectly cheesy movie. I had so much fun with this. I highly recommend this if you're looking for something just a little bit corny and fun and campy. Yes, Gargoyles was awesome. Now, Bug, I don't really recommend. This really isn't even a horror movie. It's more just a psychological thriller about like cuckoo people who think bugs are on them. But yeah, it might be spoiler alert. Are there really bugs? That's up for you to decide. There's not. There's no bugs. And last up here we have Behind the Mask, which is interesting because it's part mockumentary about like what if a serial killer was like, what if Jason Voorhees was like a real person, and it's kind of like quirky and fun because he's like so matter of fact about how like he would be going about killing people. He's not like some deranged looking lunatic. He's very down to earth. But then when the killings start, it'll no longer look like a documentary and it's filmed like a really slick movie. So yeah, this is a fun time right here. And if you've never seen it, definitely check it out. And that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you watching. Go ahead, like and subscribe, share with a friend, leave me a comment. I love to hear from you, and I'll see you next time around. Wait a minute, I'm not done yet. I forgot to talk about this right here, the Night Gallery series. And you got Rod Sterling right there, who created Twilight Zone. And while not quite as solid as the Twilight Zone, I would say the best episodes of Night Gallery are just as good or a little bit better than the best episodes of Twilight Zone. And there's some really good ones here. The best episode is the pilot episode. So if you were to check these out, definitely start with the pilot. But because it's an anthology, you don't have to watch them in order. And I would say most of the better episodes are on season 2. And yes, there's some very, very good ones. Season 3 really isn't all that great. And yeah, to say again, this is one of the better anthology shows, up there with the Twilight Zone and also Tales from the Crypt. But besides those, I can't really think of any others that are better. I mean, Black Mirror is good too, but I don't really count the modern ones. As far as classic anthology, there's some great, great episodes here. Okay, that's it. Thanks. See you later.